Johara. Welcome back to my channel, to Johara Loves TV. We are gonna do I on the 3rd I uploaded inspiring women in media part 1. It wasn't originally gonna be a 2-part video, but the list turned out to be really long, and then I was like, this is gonna be a long video, so I split it into 2 parts and did some rearranging with my schedule of videos this month, and decided to do this one. So I did over half, I think, of the, maybe barely over half, or maybe it's about halfway, I don't know, but around that. So I still have several to, well, not several, but I still have a good amount to go through for this part 2 of inspiring women in media. And so as if you saw my part 1, if not, you should probably watch that first, because then you're missing a bunch of inspiring women that I talk about. Crap, I forgot to do the thumbnail. Oh well, I can do it after the video. I usually do it before the video, but oh well. But yeah, so I'll just say the character's name, what TV show or movie that she is from, and explain why they are inspiring to me. And if I miss something about a trait they have that makes them inspiring, I'm sorry. You can mention it in the comments, and I'm sure you are right, but I may just have forgotten it, or forgot to mention it, because I get sidetracked a lot. So let's get started. First I have Belle Branch from Once Upon a Time. She is Belle from the fairy tale Beauty and the Beast, because Once Upon a Time is about the fairy tales in our world. And I mean, Belle herself, I feel like, is very inspiring. So, but I feel like this is the best Belle adaptation ever. The actress did an amazing, beautiful job, and I love how they made Belle not appear flawless, because that is the whole point of Beauty and the Beast, anyways. And she made mistakes, and she's not a perfect person, but she always tries her best, and she always sees the beauty within. Even though Rumple hurts her several times, he's Rumpelstiltskin, but he's also the crocodile in Peter Pan, and he's also the Beast in Beauty and the Beast. So he has like a part in every fairy tale, I swear. But she always managed to see the good in him, even when he hurt her, and always managed to forgive him. Sometimes it became harder. Sometimes, like when one of these, she showed incredible strength when she made him leave the town line, because she loved him, but he had hurt her and betrayed her trust and hurt her friends and was going to kill someone that I don't know if they actually had gotten close at this point. I don't think they get close until after that, because of the fact that, he tried to kill her 3 times. But that's not this point. But the point is that it was incredibly strong of her to be able to do that, to save Storybrooke from his evil, monstrous tendencies. But she never stopped loving him, and she was always able to see the man behind the beast, even when he couldn't, even when no one else could. Not even his own son, she always could, even when she was mad at him, even when she didn't trust him or anything. And she is just very inspiring woman who always tries her best, always sees the good in others, and I feel like the characters always kind of pushed her to the side and forgot about her and didn't include her, even though she constantly helped them with research and stuff and was always there. I just feel like I don't know, I feel like they wronged Belle a lot, not just the characters but the writers, but that's another story for another time. Moving on. So Arya Montgomery from Pretty Little Liars. I don't think she's like everyone's favorite character, but I don't think she's everyone's least favorite character, but she's my favorite character. I absolutely love her. She, like, I love that scene where Mona explains why Allison had chosen them all for her crew all those years ago. Well, actually, at that point, I mean, it was seasons later, but it was only like a year and a half or something, like 2 years. But yeah, anyways, moving on. Um, Mona told them that Hannah was admiring, Spencer was smart, Emily was loyal, and Arya was compassionate, and that's why she chose them. And Arya is compassionate, and yes, she's made mistakes. I got so mad that everyone on the show and the fans got so mad at Arya for helping A in season 7 when in reality she was being blackmailed. And Toby had joined the A team in season 3, and Spencer had joined the A team in season 3, and yet, no, everyone still trusted her. No one was mad at her. That was bogus. um, but I just feel like even when everyone had turned on her and Ezra was saying and Ezra was explaining that I loved how Ezra was defending her, but I just love that scene when he defended her to everyone and yelled at them. But he was telling her how they lost the right to be her friends because they had betrayed her and stuff, and she was like, no, no, I was the one that was in the wrong, and if I tell what's her name, Tanner, that was all me, then they're free to go. She was really gonna do that for all of them, and she's very underrated and deserves more love. So please give her more love. um, and she's just always there for everyone around her, and she's been through a lot just like the others, but she tries and she doesn't give up even when things were hard and she wanted to. She continued to stay with her friends. I mean, there was even time, there's a couple times I think, where she could have actually left. No, it was just that one when she was with when Ezra's like, you're in the clear, we could just leave, but she refused to leave her friends, and yeah. Then I also have Emily from Pillow Liars because she is the loyal one, and she is also sweet and um such a good friend. She was always loyal to Allison, even when everyone else wasn't, or turned on her, or was mad at her. Emily defended her time and time again, even when Allison hurt her. Kind of like Belle and the Beast. I guess this is their own version of Beauty and the Beast. um, but yeah, and she's just a lot stronger than they think, especially since A pointed her out as the weak link in the earlier seasons. She had proved to be anything but, and yeah, definitely inspiring. I also have Mary Stewart from Rain. She is so inspiring. I mean, she has been through the ringer. I swear, she's been through everything imaginable, you know? I mean, but she always manages to come out of the other end with her head held high, and she's made mistakes. I mean, she made the whole mistake with what's with Conde in season 2 and even her Francis, but she was hurting herself, and I think that's what everyone forgets when cuz she wasn't acting like herself. I mean, she was raped and she was just dealing with all of that, and she needed to feel something cuz she felt numb, and it was just very sad. But despite her mistakes, despite everything, she always came out the other end stronger. I mean, she even lost the love of her life and ended up getting executed, and she was in prison for like 20 years, 21 years, something like that, before she was executed. And then she was finally at peace, finally reunited with Francis, and her journey finally came to a sweet end because she has been through a lot, and she never gave up, and she always fought for her country, even if it meant going against her husband and his family. And France, she went against France a lot because what mattered to her was Scotland. No matter how much she loved Francis or France itself, she was loyal to Scotland, and it was just so empowering. I also have 11 from Stranger Things. She has been through a lot as well. There's kind of a pattern here, apparently. The fact that she was, kind of kidnapped from her mom when she was a baby and raised as an experiment. Well, her mom had went through those experiments, causing her to have the powers, or something like that. It's been a while since I've seen it. But And so they did experiments on her, testing her powers, until finally she escaped and met Mike, and he was the first person to truly notice her and see the beauty in her, even though she was different and shy and scared because of the life she has lived up to that point. As a government experiment, he always defended her, always was on her side, and he loved her despite everything, even the fact that he watched her kill like 100 people at once. He continued to love her because he knew who she was, and she was just so inspiring and empowering in how she fought to be free, fought to get back to Mike, fought to help her friends, fought to close that gate once and for all, time and time again, and it's just so empowering. I also have Ahsoka from Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I love Ahsoka. I think about I don't want to say rereading that, no, rewatching that, because I haven't watched it in a while, and it's so good. Um, Ahsoka is so uh she's strong. She almost died a couple times, and I think once she did die. But she always came back. And though she had attitude, though she didn't, like following protocol all the time. I mean, she her and Anakin are a lot like in those aspects. I swear, she's stubborn and hard-headed and set in her ways at times, but she always does the right thing to help people. She never gives up. She fights back, and she is always there to protect Anakin, even though she's the Padawan, and she's always ready to protect him if something goes wrong. And or Barriss, even though Barriss betrayed her, and going through all of that, the trial, being accused of murder, being framed by her friend, was all just so hard, and the fact that she left is still heartbreaking. It's my favorite storyline, but it's still heartbreaking. And season 6 I didn't like very much because she wasn't in there, but I got so excited when she came back in season 7. I was like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for, and you get to see what she's been going through and stuff, and I loved it. Um, but yeah, so I have Betty from Riverdale. Betty is has a darkness to her, and she does go through a lot. I mean, with everything that happened with Polly, and then her parents being her parents, her dad ended up becoming the Black Hood because he said it was because of her, and killing all those people, and then um with the farm and the Gargoyle King, and almost losing Jughead twice, and she's been through a lot. But she always fights. Her and Jughead are the ones that always solve the mysteries in the end of the day, not the adults. And they always manage to figure out who the heck is doing this and stop them. I mean, her, Jughead, and their friends did figure out who Jason's killer was. That Betty discovered who the Black Hood was. Betty and Jughead. Um, Betty stopped the farm with the help of Alice. It was Betty and Alice. Betty and Jughead had dealt with the what's his name, Gargoyle King, and then they was unraveling the plot that uh and the mystery of the Stonewall Prep kids. So yeah, but Betty always managed to help and do what was right. And I mean, like, during the Jubilee, she was told not to mention any of that, but she was like, no, we must do better, and she just fought for what was right and was trying to get the entire town to stop lying and to themselves and stuff, and it was just, I saw Charlie from Supernatural. Charlie, uh, is very empowering and inspiring. She is a lesbian, so love her for that. Um, and she helped him even though she was shy and scared and this was out of her element. She did end up hunting on her own after a while and started helping them. I mean, she sacrificed herself to make sure Dean had what he needed to get the Margaret Kane off of him and save him, and she died to protect him. And it was just so inspiring, and I swear all these people died for Dean. I swear. I mean, John died for Dean, Charlie died for Dean, Joe died for Dean. I don't care what. I don't know if people noticed that besides me, but Joe was doubled back to shoot the hellhound that went after Dean, so she died for him. Okay, just telling you. But yeah, that should be proof to Dean that he's worth something, because all these people are dying for him. But that just makes him feel worse, which I get. But moving on, Caroline Forbes from the Vampire Diaries. She's been through a lot as well. Like I said, there's a pound here apparently, but she is. I love the scene where Stefan, like Caroline's not even in this scene, but Stefan and Elena are walking and they're stuck in the side of the road, and they're talking about Caroline and about her optimism, about her happiness, about her joyfulness, about her control freakiness, and they were saying how she was the one person they wish were there right now because she would be making them feel better, making them laugh, and uh, and I felt like that was really amazing because I just felt like everyone, especially in the beginning of the series, kind of brushed Caroline to the side like she was unimportant, always kept her in the dark about what was going on until finally she became a vampire, and I just feel like Caroline deserved better. But uh, she, despite everything she's been through, she remains that happy, kind soul, and with so much optimism, so much uh, beauty, and she's so inspiring. She's the light in the darkness. Consider And it's funny considering she's a vampire. But also Claire from Lost, who is the actress, also played Belle on Once Upon a Time. Claire uh, originally came to the island 8 months pregnant, and someone was after her baby, and she lost her mind and was kidnapped, and um, the island had infected her poorly in season 6, and then she lost her baby, and she was trying to find him, and she lost Charlie, the one person who was nice to her and kind to her and cared about her, and it was just so heartbreaking, but she always fought for her son and to do what's right despite everything, and it was just beautiful. And I feel like it's an unpopular opinion, but she's my favorite. Also Mia Toretto from Fast and Furious. I feel like all the ladies in Fast and Furious are inspiring, Letty and Giselle as well. Mia's always been my favorite though. I was so happy that she came back for the ninth movie because I just recently watched it finally. But Mia is inspiring, and she wasn't always the fighting type, even though you did get to see her fight in the ninth one, which I got excited about because I even made a comment. I was like, Mia was never the fighter; she was always behind the computer, directing the guys. And Giselle and Letty, because they were fighters. Mia just wasn't. She was a part of that life because of Dom and her friends. Everyone in her life was in her life because of her brother, and that's one thing I loved about Mia and Brian's relationship, because Brian had told her that uh he was there because of her. Being friends with her brother was just a bonus, and it was such a sweet moment, and I shipped him so much, and I'm so sad that he's gone. But anyways, moving on. Um, Mia is just so smart and kind. Despite all that she goes through, she was on the most wanted list, more than one, or no, because the eighth one, the others were on the most wanted list. She wasn't there at the time, so she was just on the most wanted list during movie 4. But yeah, she was on the most wanted list, but she still fought to help her brother, to help Brian, and despite the fact that Brian did technically betray her in the first movie, she always was fighting for her brother because a lot of times her brother didn't really think about himself. He was always just about brute muscle and fighting, and Mia was always the one to like take care of him and stuff. And yeah, see. Violet from a series of unfortunate events. The Bolden Lair siblings have been through a lot. Uh, Violet always felt like it was her job to protect Klaus and Sunny because she had promised her parents before they died that she will always protect them. And you could even see her at one point. She was even saying how she failed, and she was just trying to protect them. And she felt like the weight of the world was on her shoulder. I mean, like the time where during the hostile hospital, she had sacrificed herself basically for them because she was trying to make sure they got out first, and then she moved out of the way because she knew she couldn't get through, and the bookshelves covered the vent that she couldn't get through, so she stayed behind so that the two of them could get out, which got her captured and almost, stabbed with a heel. But she was always the one to protect them and to be there for them, and she was just inspiring because she was still only 14, but she still had to do all that. I have Maddie from Wolf Blood. Maddie is a werewolf, or wolf blood. They call it wolf blood. And she was kind of a loner. I mean, they lived among humans instead of in the wild like most wolf bloods. They didn't live with packs. I mean, they Maddie and her parents were their packs until, she meets Ridian, who didn't who was okay, let me try this again. Who was in foster care, so he was wolf blood, but he didn't know his biological parents, so he didn't understand that part of him until he meets Maddie, who was like him. And they didn't get off the right foot because he was technically in their territory, because that town was Maddie and her family's territory. But she ended up accepting him into their pack, and uh Shannon and Tom, after they found out, even though, because they were her best friends, after they found out, even though they technically weren't wolf blood, they still became part of her pack, and it became the four of them, and Maddie's parents, but mostly the four of them. Five once you get introduced to Yana, but uh, but she always fought for her pack. I mean, she almost had to leave a couple times. Until she did have to leave. Almost had to leave at the end of season one because if anyone finds out about them, she has to leave. Um, so that things are safe. And Shannon and Tom, and they were mad at her, and Shannon was she wanted people to believe her when she talked about, werewolves and monsters, because she had seen something when she was younger and no one believed her. So she wanted to prove the existence until she found out it was Maddie. And she was mad, but then she forgave her, and uh but then they didn't end up having to leave because Shannon and Tom agreed not to tell her secret. But then in season two, they almost had to leave near the end, well, they did leave, but they almost had to. But they thought they could stay because they managed to stop everyone's talk about werewolves when Maddie's parents turned into, well, wolves, and Maddie showed the class that she had wolves as pets, and that's what um everyone saw. But then it didn't work because there were still scientists who knew the truth, and she wanted to experiment with them, so they still ended up having to leave, which was really sad. um but she always fought for her pack, and to help them because she was the leader of their pack. And yeah, see, there's also Evie from Descendants. That's what the movie's called. she I mean, she can live in the life like outlaws. I mean, she had to, but she realized she didn't have to play dumb, and she started working hard on her fashion, became successful in high school, and even got her own mini castle before she graduated. And she started this business, and she realized that her Prince Charming was Doug, son of Dopey, instead of waiting for an actual, Prince Charming like Chad. And uh, she and she was always more into Ordon. I feel like Evie and Carlos were the ones that were more Ordon even before they were in Ordon. They they weren't as rough as Tubble as Mel and Jay. So yeah. Then Addison from Zombies, she was always fighting for zombies and she never thought that they were bad. I mean, yeah, at first she was scared to be around zombies because of what she was told, but then when she meets Zed, she's like, well, you're not so hideous after all. Ugh, stupid Nat. Um, she and then she meets Eliza and Zed's little sister. I don't remember her name. I want to say Zoe. I might be wrong though. And what's his name? The zombie that's only speaking Zombish. I don't remember his name now either. But she ends up fighting for the zombie. She even risks her cheerleading career, which is her dream to be a cheerleader. But she risked that all to help the zombies and make everyone see that they're not bad. And she also did the same thing in the second movie with werewolves. She wanted to include them and make them realize that and get everyone to accept them when no one wanted to. And she just always fought against diversity despite being in this closed-minded town where people believed one thing. I mean, they're very racist is the right word. Specious? I don't know how to pronounce that, but if you're not human, you're not okay with them. And that's messed up. I guess I can understand it at first, but you should at least give them a try. Stupid gnat. Okay. One more. Callie Adams Foster from The Fosters. She makes a lot of mistakes, but her heart's always in the right place, and she's so passionate about helping people, um, helping foster kids get in, adopted and into good families, and uh, saving people. Like when she saved that the prostitute from her whatever his name he was, um, and just helping people in general. I mean, she risked herself a lot. She sacrificed herself because she never really cared about what happened to her. She cared about what happened to those around her, or even just complete strangers. If someone needed her help, she almost went to jail trying to help that one guy that she used to know in an old foster home who was in jail. I don't remember his name. I just remember that he was the same actor that played Deuce on Shake It Up. That's what it's called. Uh, but yeah, she is very passionate and she's always willing to help and try to be there for people and do the right thing. I mean, yeah, she's made a lot of mistakes, but her heart's always in the right place, and that's what counts. Um, but yeah, that's all for this video. Finally, we're done. Inspiring Women in Media Part 2. And this is Vlogoween Day 10. Yay. So please like and subscribe and comment. And if you think I missed any traits with these women, or if you think I missed inspiring women in media at all, and we'll chat below, and I'll talk to you guys later.